All right, our last section's on in chapter 7 is on natural log. The things we do today aren't going to be any different than what we've done in the previous couple of days, other than the fact that you need to understand that natural log is log base e. So anytime you see natural log, if you prefer to write log base e, that might help you in the things that we're going to do. Otherwise, we're going to be condensing, we're going to be solving, and doing a little simplifying, just like we've had throughout the lessons. Our first problem is write as a single natural log. So this is a condensed problem. So we're going to go through the steps to condense like we've done in the past. Condensing requires us to follow the order of operations. So I'm just going to take all these numbers in front and put them up in the exponent. Now we got to be careful in this middle term because you put the 2 there. I could see someone just putting y squared. We have to remember to square both the x and the y. At the end, we need to move a half up. So you're going to end up with natural log of y to the 4th to the half. You want to apply your property of property of exponents here. What do you do with exponents when you're powering like that? You multiply them. So you should have natural log of y to the 4 times a half is 2. And now we're down to subtract and add. We're going to subtract first because it's to the left. How do you put logs together with subtracting? You write them as one log with division. Working our way towards getting a single natural log. We've got down to 2. We're going to get down to 1 now by applying the property that goes with addition, and that property is multiplication. Now, this y squared over here, it's like multiplying by y squared over 1, so the y squared goes in the numerator. Common mistake would be put in the denominator. That wouldn't be right. It goes in the numerator. So pretty good so far. We got to finish this up though. We got to simplify. We got to simplify on the right. Looks like the y's are going to cancel. You got a y squared on top and bottom. There's more x's on the top by 1, so this is simply the natural log of x. Example 2. This is a solving one. This is a solving one that has a single log. When you have a single log, I encourage you to get it alone and then rewrite it. Well, this log is already alone, so we're going to rewrite it. Keep in mind, this is log base e. So the rewrite would be build your house, take e to the 8th, and that equals x minus 5 quantity squared. Now you might be thinking square root to the right, deal with the quadratic. You can do that. But it's actually easier in this case to just simply square root both sides. And that'll leave you with an x minus 5 on the right. On the left, you've got e to the square root of e to the 8th. Now that's like e to the 8th to the 1/2, which is e to the 4th. But keep in mind that it's actually plus or minus e to the 4th because you're square rooting. So you have to put plus or minus here. Don't be that guy. Remember to put plus or minus when you square root or do any even root. Last thing we would do would add over 5. So x is looking like it's 5 plus or minus e to the 4th. Now on your assignment and the test, we're going to go to 4 decimal spots. So we're going to go ahead and put this in our calculator at this point. Calculator up for you. We're going to go 5 plus second ln 4. There's one possible answer, 59.5982. And then 5 minus second ln to the 4th here, negative 49.5982. So those are our possible answers, 59.5982 and negative 49.5982. 59.5982 and negative 49.5982. Now yesterday or the day before we ran into some trouble there if you're going to log a negative, so sometimes the negative didn't work. But here it's going to work out okay because if you plug a negative in right up here, you end up squaring it, which turns it into positive, and you end up with the exact same of part, exact same thing that's to the right of the natural log, regardless of which one of these you plug in. In both cases, you'll end up with, whatever 54.5982 squared is. So actually, both of these work. What that should tell you is that if you would have expanded this, you'd have been in trouble. If you would have expanded this, you'd have said, oh, put the 2 up front, excuse me, divide by 2, and then rewrite it, you only would have got the positive answer, but it turns out the negative answer works here. So you really got to be careful with your condensing and expanding. Sometimes you can get away with it, but if you'd have done it here, you'd have lost the proper answer. So when you have one log, I wouldn't condense or expand. Okay? All right, example 3. Going the other direction, we have 1 power. So when we have 1 power, we're going to isolate the power. We're going to minus the 8. I'm going to divide by 3. And now I'm going to break down my house. I'm going to rewrite it. So this one has a house that has a base e. So that's, well, I could write it log base e. Of, go the other side, 22/3 equals x minus 1. Then I'm going to bring the 1 over, and that's what I'm going to plug in my calculator. Well, actually, I'm not going to plug in, I'm not going to do change of base with log, 22/3 over log of e. This is where you want to recognize that log of e, log base e, is natural log. So I'm going to punch in natural log of 22/3. I'm going to add 1, and that's what my x is going to be. Natural log 22 divided by 3, right parenthesis, add 1, and we're going to put 2.9924. 2.9924. One last one. This is just a simplified one. We've got the natural log of e to the 8th over 4. It's back on the screen. There we go. Okay. So we got natural log of e to the 8th. We can simplify that. If you get confused, write it as log base e of e to the 8th. We can simplify the top part. Log base e of e, this part cancels and leaves you with an 8. Okay, so it's just going to be 8 over 4. Why does it cancel? Let's run through that again. It cancels because this means e to some power equals e to the 8th. So the question mark part's got to be 8. So this is 8 over 4, which is 2. That's the answer to this. So this is a pretty good cross-section of the types of problems you're going to have in your assignment 7-6. And that wraps up our chapter on logs. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.